Yo, it's your homeboy Kiiro in the building. Welcome to episode 115 of One Piece Gist. In this episode, I'll be reviewing One Piece chapter 774. As usual with my reviews, we'll have a spoiler-free review first. Afterwards, we'll have a more in-depth discussion about the chapter. So let's start the review. This was a very weak chapter of One Piece. I'll be blunt as usual and honest as usual. This was a very weak chapter of One Piece. Not as terrible as some people are going to say it is, because that's what some people are going to say. It's either a chapter is the best or it's the worst. That's the sort of mentality in the community. But this wasn't a terrible chapter of One Piece. It was just very weak and disappointing. If you had any high expectations, after a good chapter like 773, you will definitely be disappointed in this chapter. But there are, a few things that we can sort of take away from the chapter. So story progression is the most important thing. There was some story progression in this chapter, and that is what made this chapter worthwhile in any capacity. I definitely think Oda could have shoehorned some other stuff into the chapter rather than dedicating an entire chapter to this one event that wasn't all that spectacular. But I really don't want to spoil anything, so I'll just leave it at that. A very weak chapter, very disappointing chapter, but there was some story progression. And that's really what makes the chapter worthwhile in any capacity, because without that, I think the chapter is, in fact, it really isn't worth reading. I actually regret, trying to read it early instead of doing something else today. But it is what it is. You don't expect you don't expect these kind of chapters from Oda all the time. So yeah, a filler chapter of One Piece. It really does serve as a filler chapter. And yeah, that's about it. A very weak chapter of One Piece. Not very happy with this one. So let's move on to the discussions of this chapter. So we'll start with the cover story. The cover story was as weak as the chapter. However, from the look of things, this cover story isn't a conclusion. So this is good news, because I do want to see where Oda's going with this whole Jinbei thing and this underwater building thing. And we find out Usopp is conscious now. At least to the best of my memory, he was unconscious the last time I saw him or something. Oh no, he wasn't. My bad. But yeah, really nothing new concerning Robin, Kairos, or Usopp, who did make appearances in this chapter. Really just wastes of space, and they serve to sort of elongate the chapter or sort of fill in empty spaces on the pages. Really pointless stuff. Yeah, the chapter is very self-explanatory, so I'll just go over the stuff that we should take away from the chapter. So the first thing we have to bear in mind is Moncherie was going to be rescued at some point in time, and I think the earlier Oda did it, the better. You don't want this kind of chapter to happen in the middle of the final fight. You know what I'm saying? When everybody's hyped. So I do think it is good that Oda pulled it out now. But even then, I think I still expected more entertainment from this chapter, regardless of when it came out. So yeah. But there's only so much you can do with Leo and Jorah. The second thing, and I think this is the most important thing to take away from the chapter, is Moncherie's fruit, because it was stated a while back that Doflamingo had some plans, concerning Moncherie's fruit. So I'm thinking that he's already stored a good portion of her tears somewhere, and he has that on standby, ready for use for whatever plan he has. That's my first assumption. The second thing is, okay, so nothing that long term, and we're basically going to see her tears used to heal somebody, like maybe Kairos, which I doubt, because I mean he should have a stub now, whatever, or Law, which would make sense. Who else? Or maybe even Luffy and Law after they get beaten by, I don't know, Bellamy or Dofi or something, so that they have a second round. I'm not quite sure, but I really don't think this is the last we will hear of her fruit, and I'll explain why. First of all, that would be a waste of a devil fruit to sort of give it to somebody and it's never used. It's only used as a plot device. But the more significant thing is she's already a princess. She doesn't really need any extra reason for someone to save her. So all this, oh, she's gonna revive the Don Quixotes, that's all of that's irrelevant, and that isn't really a bad thing for us viewers. I mean, apart from the Gladius fight, I do think I wouldn't mind if the other fights had like round twos to them, because they weren't all that good. But I think with the Barry pistol, Gladius definitely shouldn't come back. That's gonna sort of downplay that whole scene a bit. So yeah. In any case, I'll give my reason. She's already a princess. Oda doesn't need any extra reasons. for Leo to save her. So this heal thing is definitely gonna play a different part in the story. And Doflamingo did have plans, to use her powers. We didn't know what her powers were before the chapter. I thought they were a bit more destructive or something, maybe even an ancient weapon or something. I looked a little too deep into things, but I mean, when you look at Shirahoshi, for example, she doesn't look like an ancient weapon type of character. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. For such a long chapter, it really doesn't deserve me wasting so much time on it. So I think I'll close things here. So sort of a filler chapter, and it is better that we get this Leo Moncherie stuff now than later down the line. So there's that to take away from it. But yeah, what are you guys' theories on how Oda's going to use the heal fruit later on? Whether it's in this chapter or outside this chapter or whenever, basically, how do you think Oda's going to use that? Because it is a way to just throw it out there. And the thing is, the same thing could be applied to Kanjuro, except I do see a Wano Kuni arc coming. So we could see his fruits used there as well, not just specifically on Dressrosa. So that's why I haven't really bothered with him too much. But whatever. This video is long enough for such a very disappointing chapter. Thank you for chilling all the way to the end. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, thank you guys for watching.